It hasn't even been a full month since my Soundpeats Air4 reviews, and bam, like literally they just released the pros. Like that's pure madness, right? And I usually do not like direct comparisons in a first initial review or like my unboxing or whatever the case may be. But I know that there's going to be so many people in the comment section below asking which one is better, the Air4s or the Air4 Pros. And so today I'm going to compare them, but I want you to keep an open mind about the Air4s as well as the Air4 Pros as we move through this. Now, with that being said, they did send these out to me. They didn't necessarily ask for a review. In fact, we didn't even talk before they showed up on my doorstep. But what are you doing, Adele? But I am going to be comparing these today for you. So let's jump into the review because there's a lot to cover.
There is so much a man can tell you, so much he can say. You remain my power, my pleasure, my pain, baby. To me, you're like a grown addiction that I can't deny.
Starting with the case, the design is slightly different. The Air4 case is taller with a matte finish, while the Pro is shorter and wider with a satin finish. The pairing button for the case is on the front of the Air4, while the pairing button is on the bottom of the Air4 Pro case. The status lights are still on the front of each case and work the same, although the Air4 case's status light is larger and easier to view. And aside from the dimensions, the cases are the exact same, providing the same battery power and use times. Personal preference will determine which shape and feel you believe is better. As far as quality, they both are high-quality cases, with the matte case possibly more susceptible to fingerprints, but due to the fact that I wash my hands a lot and the weather is becoming colder here in Atlanta, I haven't seen any fingerprints or even skin oil very much at all on either of the cases. There is one major difference between the earbuds of the Air4s and the Air4 Pros, and that is the addition of the ear tips to the Air4 Pros, of course. This addition alone potentially changes the sound profile of the Air4 Pros, and we'll cover that shortly. The earbuds come with 2 extra sets of ear tips and come pre-installed with the medium size. Secondly, the noise-canceling microphone on the inner side of the earbuds has been greatly reduced in size and style. I'm not sure if that impacts the performance, as there wasn't any provided data on why this change was made, and any phone calls would be objective and hard to review for consistency, as each scenario, unless scripted and in a sound-controlled environment on both ends, would be drastically different. Plus, let's be honest, that's too much work at this price point.
This is me testing Soundpeats Air4 Pro so you can hear the microphones on a video call. This is what you can expect if I'm doing a phone call or using them from a Bluetooth standpoint. This is me testing out the Soundpeats Air4s and not the Air4 Pros. So this is what you can expect from the microphone if you're going to use these for a phone call or a Bluetooth type situation. So this is what you can expect again from the Soundpeats Air4s.
In regard to like the sound profiles, this is going to be up to personal preference as well, because the sound is going to be changed based on how these fit in your ears. In my last review, the personal EQ sounded a lot better in the Air4s because they didn't sit tightly in my ear due to my ear size, right? And so because of that, the personal EQ was the best, and I wasn't able to actually use the sound profiles that well. However, with the new Air4 Pros, because of the ear tips, I can use all of the sound profiles. The personal EQ still does sound great, but I found myself using the surging bass or the heavy bass profile in this particular use case during my workouts, which I could not do during the Air4's review period. Diving into sound, now this is also objective, but scientifically, the Air4 Pros are going to have a physical advantage over the Air4s due to the ear tips. The ear tips allow the sound to be directed deeply or directly into the ear canal, whereas the Air4s kind of sit there in that ear space or that open ear space, and they deliver the sound kind of more broadly. This means regardless of which one you prefer from a shape and fit standpoint, the Air 4 Pros are drastically better at sound control, sound leakage in regard to ANC mode, and the ability to shape the sound in your ear. They also come along with the added feature of transparency mode, which the Air 4s do not have. Objectively, in my ears, I mentioned in the last video that the earbuds without tips don't physically fit the best, which required me to use the personal EQ. The Air 4 Pros fit and sound much better than the Air 4s because of that. I want to be transparent when I say this. It does not mean the Air 4s are bad. In fact, due to them not having the rubber tips, the sound resonates in your ear canal and feels lighter with no air pressure buildup that you get from having the ear tips. On the flip side, the sound leakage is non-existent on the Air 4 Pros, and you have what feels like deeper and more controlled bass that result in fuller sound. The reasons I don't like direct comparisons is because someone will hear this review and they're going to think that the Air 4s are not good because of the upgrades or the pros of the Air 4 Pros. And I want to say that that's farthest from the truth. Subjectively, they both sound really good and give you high quality music. I'm on iOS, so I can't try out the aptX lossless features, but even with that being said, they still both sound really good. With these basically having the exact same specs, they're going to give you pretty much the same sound. And objectively, where it's going to come into play is that the ear tips are going to provide better sound leakage reduction, as well as better low end, and the Pros are also going to give you that transparency mode that are not on the Air 4s. So it's kind of up to you which one you like over the other. I will say that when you do have the ear tips, you do have more of the air pressure buildup that happens when you use ear tips versus open air type headphones where that's not present. And so keep that in mind while you're making your decision. But overall, it's the exact same specs in the buds, the case, and the overall playtime. It's just those slight differences. Outside of that, they both sound great. So let me know any thoughts or questions, comments you may have in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing if you enjoyed the content and want to see more content like it. But as always, stay cozy in that crazy world, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.